Sonic the Hedgehog is a video game franchise that is over 20 years old and has had over 50 games. In these games contain many fantastic levels and bosses, and of course, in the case of the epic and memorable final boss fight, Sonic has us covered. In this video, we're going to be counting down my top 10 favourite Sonic the Hedgehog final boss battles. What do you get when you cross a satellite with a giant lizard? The final boss of Sonic Adventure 2, of course. The final boss of Sonic Adventure 2 sees Sonic and Shadow in their super forms battling the Final Hazard, the result of a fusion between the Bio-Lizard and the Ark satellite. As the beast plummets to Earth, the player must switch between Sonic and Shadow, charging into the beast's weak spots, dodging lasers and other attacks thrown at you. With each hit, the player swaps hedgehogs, but the attacks get more difficult to dodge. The fight is then made even more challenging by the time limit due to the imminent collision with Earth. This forces the player to act quickly in order to defeat the Final Hazard and save Earth, all the while listening to that sweet, sweet soundtrack. This boss is unique and memorable because of its gameplay, in which the player switches between Super Sonic and the newly debuted Super Shadow as they set aside their differences and work together to eliminate this threat. This fight is immensely challenging, and by the end of the fight, your timing and attacks are crucial. If the time runs out, you're done for, and if you run out of rings, you're left helpless. Each attack must be planned perfectly, which is what makes this boss both epic and memorable. The final boss of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 sees Sonic facing off against Eggman and his modified Eggmobile, dubbed the Big Arm. In this fight, with the Death Egg in the background, Eggman flies back and forth across the screen using various attacks to dispatch Sonic. As his vehicle has spikes at the top of it, the obvious option of attacking him on the head is impossible. Instead, Sonic must place a precise spin dash to the cockpit. This is challenging, as if the attack is too high, Sonic will be killed by the spikes. If it is too low, Sonic will dash right into Eggman's hands, where he can slam you into the ground and do serious damage. 8 hits is required to beat this boss, and once you do, Eggman is defeated and the Death Egg is destroyed, bringing the game to a close. While not the most flashy or exciting fights, Sonic 3's final boss is a challenging and memorable battle. Metal Madness and his second stage, Metal Overlord, is the final boss of Sonic Heroes. This fight has 2 aforementioned stages. During Madness, Neo Metal Sonic transforms into a large dragon-like creature, and Team Dark, Rose and Chaotix are given their own sections of the battle to reduce Metal's health to a certain amount. Once you proceed past this section of the fight, the real battle begins. Team Sonic in their super forms versus Metal Overlord. Overlord has 3 different projectile attacks he throws at you, and each can only be destroyed by a specific member of Team Sonic. After making it past Overlord's round of attacks, the player has to not only dodge but also get close enough to perform a team blast to do serious damage. 5 hits later and Neo Metal Sonic is defeated once and for all. What I like most about this fight is that it not only provides a fantastic final battle for the game, but also incorporates sections involving all 4 of the playable teams in the game. Being able to take control of Team Sonic in their super forms was awesome, and bringing Neo down once and for all was even more so. Sonic Generations is probably one of the only good Sonic games in recent memories, taking the player on a trip through Sonic's greatest moments throughout the years. Its final boss, however, is unique to this game only, but is just as awesome as all the other bosses commemorated in Generations. The Time Meter, being controlled by both past and present Eggmans, is of course fought by both Sonics in their super forms. The fight takes place in some sort of tube, where the Time Meter attempts to keep its distance from the Sonics, firing— Looks like a homing shot. Sorry, I got interrupted there for a minute. It keeps its distance from the Sonics by firing— Looks like a homing shot! It keeps its— Shot! Can you stop shouting at me every 5 seconds? Shut up! In the fight, the Time Meter throws various attacks at you, and you as the player have to evade them, boosting towards the Time Meter in order to reach its core and smash into it. Due to the usage of super forms, however, keeping an eye on your decreasing ring count is essential. And if you suck just like I do, you might run out and die, over and over, causing you to have to start from the beginning. This means while dodging attacks, you also have to collect rings that appear and disappear on the screen way too quickly. The unique mechanic of the fight comes in the form of switching between 3D and 2D perspectives in order to dodge certain attacks, and after 3 hits to the core, the Time Eater unleashes one final attack before he is defeated. Though the epicness of the fight is toned down by Sonic's friends shouting at you every 5 seconds, the fight is still an awesome one. The end of Sonic & Knuckles sees the player facing off against Eggman's greatest and largest robot yet, the Eggman Robo. No, not that one, the bigger one. Once you overcome this fight, you're expecting the end of the game, right? Nope! Instead, Eggman retreats, still carrying the Master Emerald. Here, the true final boss begins, the Doomsday Zone. In this fight, Sonic must pursue Eggman in his super form as the Doctor attempts to retreat in his final remaining trump card, though it is a lot harder than it seems, as Sonic is only granted 50 rings that quickly deplete throughout the course of the fight and must be replenished. On top of that, Eggman fires a barrage of missiles at you, causing you to have to constantly weave and dodge your way past both his attacks and the various asteroids that pop up in the level. Once Sonic hits his enemy 8 times, the final stage of the boss initiates. 8 more hits are required to vanquish Eggman once and for all, but this time it isn't so easy. Rings are even more scarce, and Eggman increases his variety of attacks, making this fight even more stressful as your rings count down to your eventual demise, unless you are able to both replenish them with the conveniently placed rings throughout the level, all the while dodging Eggman's attacks. But finally, when you make the 8th hit, colliding with Eggman's mech, he finally goes down and the Master Emerald is all yours. This boss is stressful, challenging, and utterly, absolutely awesome. Say what you want about Sonic Unleashed, the daytime sections were at least fairly solid. The game has a huge emphasis on story, focusing on the tale of Dark Gaia threatening to destroy the Earth. So of course, the final boss of the game is against this creature, and is as epic as your expectations may have hoped. The fight has 2 stages. In the first, Sonic must dash through a lengthy platform, dodging enemies and evading obstacles to reach Gaia's eye so he can smash into it and harm the creature. But that's nothing special. The real unique aspect of this fight is taking control of the Gaia Guardian and beating the ever-living crap out of the fearsome creature, whilst dodging various projectiles and attacks. After doing that for a bit, the fight enters its second stage. Perfect, Dark Gaia. In this, Dark Gaia transforms into his true form in a really disgusting transformation sequence. Ew. To counter the beast, Sonic transforms into Super Sonic, and the classic Sonic final boss commences. Just like with most Super Sonic battles, Sonic must evade projectiles and other attacks from Gaia, opening him up in order to damage him. After wailing on him for long enough, Gaia goes down, the day is saved, and Sonic Unleashed comes to a close. Sonic Unleashed's final battle is a memorable and epic one, being a combination of unique mechanics not seen before in a Sonic game, before utilising the elements of a classic Sonic final boss. It's awesome in its entirety, and is a spectacular finale to the game. Though it is an unpopular opinion, I absolutely love Sonic the Fighters. I've beaten it several times and will consider it to be one of my favourite fighting games I've ever played. While it is an arcade game, there is another way to play it at home. By owning this baby. The game gives you the quest of collecting the 8 Chaos Emeralds to defeat Eggman. Yes, 8. And after making your way through the game, beating the crap out of your friends and getting destroyed by Bark the goddamn polar bear, you finally reach the end, the Death Egg. But before you can get to Robotnik himself, a final challenge awaits, Metal Sonic. This guy is relentless and stupidly tough. But I got this. Let me just... Damn it. Crap. Ow! Bye, Sonic. What the... There we go. Now it's time for the final battle, Eggman. Wait, that's it? Oh, okay. In all seriousness, I chose the final bosses from Sonic the Fighters for how epic they were. The final fight with Metal Sonic is absolutely awesome, pitting Sonic against his immensely powerful double. His moves are stronger than you and overpower yours. You have to use everything you've learned from your previous 8 opponents to take him down. And once you finally overcome him, you are rewarded with getting to put the smackdown on Eggman as the Death Egg explodes. And boy is it satisfying. The memorable and epic final boss of Sonic Adventure takes form in perfect chaos, the final form of the watery creature Chaos. In this fight, Sonic dons his super form to take down the beast, speeding past various obstacles and debris from the destroyed city the fight takes place in to reach his adversary. Perfect Chaos attacks by shooting various laser attacks at you, and getting hit by them will cause you serious damage. Once you reach Chaos, Sonic speeds through his body, reaching his head and damaging him. This process has to be repeated 3 times before he is defeated. Or so you think. No, Chaos isn't down yet. The process repeats again, but with a larger health bar and more intense lasers to dodge. Once Sonic makes the final hit, Chaos is finally defeated, and the game comes to a close. Sonic Adventure is the favourite Sonic game of many, and this fight will forever be remembered by those who hold the game dear. Sonic Rush is my all-time favourite Sonic game, and I've played it to death. The game has cleverly designed levels that are both challenging and fun, and the bosses in the game are all interesting and fun in their own way, though the final boss is easily my favourite of them all. While I've never made it to Exception, the true final zone and boss of the game, as I never collected all the Chaos Emeralds as my young self, I much prefer the final boss of the main story, the Egg King. This fight is absolutely epic, both challenging and exciting at the same time. Eggman or Eggman Nega, depending on your chosen character, pilots a massive mecha that looms down on you as you run around a platform below it. It has various attacks such as a laser, traps that electrocute you, and smashing the platform. What the player has to do is attack his hands when he brings them down, so that he begins attacking you from the side, opening him up as his arm is stuck, making it up his arm in time before he shakes you off. This time limit decreases drastically over the course of the fight, making your movements and attacks crucial. The pressure is on, and though the Egg King gives you 3 chances to run up his arms and attack him, he can just as easily throw you off. When you make it to the final hit, the Doctor gets desperate, smashing his robot into the platform in an effort to crush you once and for all. You make the final blow, smashing into his vulnerable spot one last time and causing the robot to explode. An epic final boss for an epic game. Before we get to number 1, I'd like to show you my honourable mentions. Final boss fights that just barely didn't make it into the list, but are still absolutely awesome in their own right. Of course, my number 1 choice would have to be the classic showdown between Dr. Robotnik and Sonic at the end of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is a fantastic game. It is also a really hard game. After making your way through Eggman's defenses in Sky Fortress Zone, you finally make it to the Death Egg after hitching a ride on Eggman's spaceship. The tension builds and you enter Eggman's fortress, reaching a small room. In it, you are pitted against a robotic double of yourself, Metal Sonic's predecessor, Silver Sonic. This fight is quite challenging as Silver Sonic's attacks are unpredictable, and your attacks have to be precise and careful. If you hit him incorrectly, you could wind up hitting his spines and dying. And considering the game gives you 0 rings to do this, you end up doing it quite a lot. Like me. Once you beat Silver Sonic, however, the final challenge begins. Eggman himself. This is it, you think? The final confrontation. Eggman vs Sonic. As you see him hop into his robot, watching the mecha emerge from the ground, you know this is going to be an epic fight. And boy is it. Oh, and it's also really freaking hard. Eggman advances towards you in his Death Egg robot before launching into the sky. He then locks onto you, and you have to trick his targeting system into dropping him somewhere where you can hit him. However, your attacks have to be even more precise than before, with Silver Sonic. One wrong move and you're done for, and it's back to the beginning of the game for you. Unless you cheat like me, however. But even with unlimited attempts, this fight was hard. I lost count how many times I died. I also lost my sanity. Eggman relentlessly attacks you, and it seems that no matter how many times you hit him, he will just not go down. But when you make that final hit, the one that causes his mech to crumble, you know that victory is yours, and there is no greater feeling than that. Sonic 2 has my favourite Sonic the Hedgehog final boss, and for that, that makes number 1 on my list. Thanks for watching! Do you agree with the choices I made, or were there some I missed? Be sure to let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to stay tuned for future videos. If you're a fan of Sonic, be sure to check out the review I did on the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Thanks, and I'll see you soon with an all-new video. Diamond Bolt out.
Come on, you big jerk! Where you going?